Alright, Ezibuilt Sheds Gold Coast, simple window install onto a trim deck or monoclad wall profile. These AMIA windows are specifically designed for sheds and are not a house window which a lot of the other suppliers supply. These come in any colour you want, they colour match to your shed walls, they're neat, they trim out neat and they weatherproof. I've never had a window leak in a shed with using AMIA windows. I always find it easier to cut the opening once the shed wall sheet is on. I use a nibbler, I don't use a grinder. Grinder on colorbond walls may or may not encourage rust, so nibbler cold cuts, so therefore no rust. So first of all, we want to measure between the Zs and allow 100 mil from there. This just allows it to go down neatly, goes inside the wall sheeting and also hangs down the inside face of the Z section for us to screw it off. Now, windows nowadays have to be hard framed in for a new code that came out in the last 12 months for internal pressure. I'm sure you've all heard about it when you get your quotes. So all sheds now come with internal pressure. So this requires all windows to be hard framed in with jambs. Remember, this process is the same, basically the same when you're installing your personal access door. So I've measured between the two Zs there and I've added 100 mil to each side. So if it was, say, 1600, I've cut that C section. The overall length will be 1800, which allows for 100 mil either end to form, to go up and sort of frame it out. You'll see what I mean in a sec once I've cut this out. Good tip when you're grinding is grind away from the sheets. Don't grind into the sheets because the sparks will stick to the inside and, you know, just more rust. All right, so you can see there I've cut out, so that measurement is 200 mil longer, 100 mil either side, slips up into there, slips down. So this will form up the, now we're not fixing anything as yet. I've just removed a wall screw so I can go in. So that'll just sit there, nice, right. So now we grab the other one that is supplied with the shed kit and we repeat. That wall sheet was clean also. Lots of rain in southeast Queensland at the time the shed was done, flooding. Alright, so we're cutting out once again, so it's 1600 measurement, so I've cut that at 1800 and it's 100 mil cut out either end. You can just see those tabs hanging past the Zs. I generally fold them over once the window's in to make it look a lot neater. Okay, so cut one end out. Just remember that at each of those connecting points where the tab is folded over and where it sees where that drill, that purlin where the drill is sitting, there's 2 framing screws on each fixing just to secure it in place. And this is just my way of installing window frames. Everyone does sheds differently. This is my way. I've found this to be the easiest way. Some people like to frame their window in before they sheet. I don't understand how it can work neat on the outside and make it even. I'll show you what I mean by this when we go to the outside shortly. You want it to be spaced evenly in the flat pan of the monoclad for aesthetics when you're looking at it from outside. Alright, so we've nearly finished, so I've cut that out, same as the last one. slip that in there. Nice. Okay. So now we're ready to install the window. We don't need to cut the top and bottom reveals just yet. We want to install the window. So we've cut the opening 10mm over size. This can be done with one person. Two people, a person on the outside sometimes helps, but he can be off doing other things. Alright, so it'll fit into the hole nicely. It's in, so we just line the jamb up. There we go. Now that window's not going to fall out now because those jambs are holding that in. Nice and neat. So we're just going to shoot round to the outside. Just going to check to make sure that it's in neatly, and you know there's a little clip strip reveal that the strip will clip into and seals it up. All good. Right, so now we can level that window up. Level. If it's level, it's plumb. If it's plumb, it's level. You're not going to adjust the window diagonally, so one side's good enough. All right. So now we want to cut the reveal, the top and bottom reveal. We're measuring between the window. I'll take off a mil just to allow for a little bit of discrepancy. So this one we cut differently than the vertical styles. We want a little tab to fold over so that we can screw in and hide some fixings just to make it look a lot neater. So I'm just marking it out. So this time we allow 50mm either side. So that window's 1200. So we're going to cut the overall length of the jamb of the reveal 1300. That gives us a 50mm. So you can see there, we're cutting those little tabs off, and we're just going to score across in this case the 150mm face with the grinder, so it'll fold. So we're cutting the tabs off this time. So we've just cut the two side tabs off, the two 40mm fold tabs. And you see here I'm just going to run the grinder across the 150 face just to score it. This will help give it a nice neat fold. I'm really only using the weight of the grinder here. It's basically like a scribe. So I've just scored it. This is going to allow it to fold neatly. Tap it on the ground, it'll fold. There we go. So that's just folded. So that's where our fixings are going to go through, that fold. Okay. So now we want to check our measurement. So 1200. So we can now mark 1200 on the pearl, add another 50mm for the fold. Remember, we're cutting at 1250. We're not cutting it off at 1200 and then folding it. I've done that a few times. Remember, if you've got any questions, just drop a comment down below. More than happy to answer any questions regarding what you've seen. We're going to have lots of videos coming up with roller door installs, PA doors, strap bracing, anything that might help you out when you're building your Ezibuilt shed kit. Remember, like, tag, share, follow this page, send it to your friends. Anyone who's interested in a shed kit, get in touch with us. We can supply you a quote on any shed design, 1A, 10A. Anything you want in a shed, we'll design it. Remember, nothing is standard with sheds. Alright, so once again, we're just cutting the little tabs off. This off cut will be a bit different because we're going to have the off cut of the C-section. Using the grinder just to score the top. Just the weight of the grinder scores the top. That's all we're doing. You can see there, I've just scored it. It hasn't cut it. And we just tap it on the ground. And there we have it. So there's your bottom reveal. And hopefully, if you've done everything right, that should fit in nice and snug. Oops. Just grab a framing screw. Now I put my square on it against the reveal just to make that nice and square. I'm just sort of indicating that don't think it's square by looking at it. Always put your square on it just to double check. Alright, so there's the bottom reveal. I know my cut was level, the window goes in level. It's all pretty straightforward. So we're just going to repeat that process for the top. It's going to be exactly the same length, the window is square, you know it's going to fit. Alright, I'll come back to you when we go to the outside. I'll leave it go. Alright, so we've got those all the reveals in. We're now on the outside of the window. This is where you can see, I said measure between the pan of the sheet so it finishes evenly spaced, so it looks in the centre of the sheet. So we're just screwing the window now into that C channel. This is basically a cyclonic fixing for a window. So this is for your C2 kits, your C3 kits. It's all very similar. That window is not going to blow in or blow out. So with your window comes the 4 framing strips to clip in. These are the ones that seal the window into the wall. A lot of shed suppliers may give you a J-mould across the top and then forget about it. So then you're relying on silicone, tight silicone. But this window it does require silicone, very marginal silicone on the corners, the top left and top right corners. Putting some screws in. Remember, we're just screwing through the reveal into the inside reveal. Use your colour match screws. Those screws on the side are seen, so try and keep them nice and straight. The screws top and bottom you don't generally see. So here we have the clip strips that hit in with a hammer. These are what seals the window in. So you just use your backhand hammer, nice and easy. Just clips in like that. You don't need to be too angry with your hammer, it just clips in. Just getting the other side. The 1200 clip strips on a monoclad shed, you have to tear off the 10mm inside strip. Yeah, it's quite, all you do is get some multi-grips, it's aluminium, you just roll it up and it just simply tears off. You do not do this if your shed is corrugated, you don't need to tear it off. So this, otherwise the strip won't go in, it'll stop, the monoclad profile will stop it clipping in. So you just need to, it's quite a simple process, you just roll it and you tear it off. So now that will just clip in there, and this also hides the cuts. So if your cuts are a couple of mil up and down, this will also hide the cuts. That's all it takes. Just make sure it lines up with, these are cut to length, you don't need to cut anything. All I'm doing there is cutting the corner off. It's just where it hits the profile. It holds it out sometimes, so the length is right. Sometimes you may have to just 45 the corner, a 5mm cut with your snips, just so it clips in hard and nice and tight. Alright, so this will be the final fit. You see, I'm just cutting the corner off, just so that'll clip in there. This is a surf mist window on a monument wall. I guess the customer wanted it to pop out a bit. Alright, so finally we're just going to do the bottom one. Once again, you just need to tear off the 10mm inside strip. You'll see it's got a fold line in the aluminium. All you do is clip your pliers and just roll, it'll roll up like a tin can opening, I suppose. So I'm obviously just hiding down on the ground, tearing off the strip. Right, I'll just see whether it goes in without cutting that little tab off. Alright, and there you have it. If you've got any questions, call the office. We're always there to help you out. Thanks for watching.